Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, economy, and development in Nigeria and around the world. Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Mohammed Matawalle, has directed Defense Intelligence Agency to go after those calling for military takeover and truncation of democracy in Nigeria and bring them to justice. Matawalle described those calling for the undemocratic change of government in Nigeria as agents of darkness and warned them to desist from their inglorious activities or face consequences, as government will not treat those behind it with kid gloves. The minister, in a statement issued by the Director of Information in the Ministry of Defense, Henshaw Ogunike, said the call for violent change of government by the military was absurd, preposterous, and naive, as the military has come to reality with democratic government in Nigeria and are focused on their constitutional duty of defending the Constitution. He added that there was no justification for anybody to contemplate unconstitutional change of government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He said, Nigeria is a peaceful country where citizens enterprise, no uprising, no mass protests, and just because criminal elements attacked a warehouse and a haulage vehicle carrying food items to other parts of the country, it's not enough. It's not enough reason for some unpatriotic individuals to resort to call for military intervention, which has no place in modern realities. The military is highly professionalized with good civil-military relationship, and they are exhibiting the highest standard of professionalism with the defense of our Constitution as a top priority, he said. He stated that some mischief makers posted viral videos and inciting statements in the media encouraging the military to truncate the Constitution, adding that the military will never do that because they have been aligned with democratic culture, which makes coup unfashionable. The minister said, those calling for coup do not love Nigeria. Those calling for coup did not love Nigeria. Under the present government, there will be no military takeover of power. He emphasized the need for elected leaders to lead while the military fulfill its duty of protecting the Constitution. The harbingers of these evil thoughts are agents of destabilization, as Nigeria has a democratic government in place and democracy is in action under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the dividends of democracy are being delivered, he said. The minister continued. He said, the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has provided a level playing ground for people to express themselves, which is one of the pillars of democracy and fundamental human rights. And fundamental human rights are being respected. The Minister of Defense is warning all the propagators calling for the truncation of the constitutional government to desist from it and face the democratic reality on ground, as the Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Mohammed Matawalle, has directed the DIA to go after the criminals and the enemies of democracy and bring them to justice. The minister further reaffirmed the commitment of the armed forces of Nigeria to defend the Constitution and uphold democracy. Now, that is the Minister of State for Defense, Mohammed Matawalle, emphasizing that democracy has come to stay in Nigeria and that those calling for military takeover are unpatriotic Nigerians. Now, I'm excited that the minister gave such an order or to the directive to Defense Intelligence Agency to go after those calling for military coup in Nigeria. You see, this democracy we are enjoying today, people fought for it with their blood. Several lives were lost before we were able to send the military back to their barracks. It is therefore unconscionable for anyone to suggest that the military should have anything with politics in Nigeria. The military has no business being in government. In fact, the reason this country has not developed as it should was because of military having a taste of power in Nigeria. Do you know where this country would have been today if military had never taken over government at all since we got our independence in 1960? The military helped in ruining this country, and there is nothing to recommend them for leadership. They have no business. So it's an insult on the intelligence of Nigerians for anyone to even suggest it. And that's why I'm shocked that the police ought to have gone after those, the police, the security, they ought to have gone after those who are making such calls. They don't have to wait for the Minister of State to direct the Defense Intelligence Agency. No. The police, the DSS, they ought to have gone after those who made such calls. They ought to have gone after them. Because the military was at the center of the crisis in this country. It is the military that put us in this mess. Yes. Do you know what this country would have been if the military did not take over government 6 years after independence? Could you imagine how this country would have been? Could you imagine if the military never tested power in Nigeria? It was the military coup, the unnecessary military coup, and the killings in that military coup that laid the foundation for the civil war in Nigeria. If that coup did not take place by the military, there would have been no civil war. This country would have developed at a pace that was unprecedented, that would have been unprecedented in history. Because Nigeria was already ahead of many Asian countries before the military truncated democracy in 1966 and eventually plunged this country into civil war that continued to create division in this country to date. If that coup, if the military never tested power in Nigeria, there would have been no civil war in Nigeria. And Nigeria would have been competing with India and other Asian tiger countries. It is the military that put this nation in this condition. Let us just forget about the corruption of the civilian, but it is the military that put this nation on the path of underdevelopment. If they had not taken over government in 1966, there would have been no civil war in 1967. And Nigeria would not have lost over 3 million people between 1967 and 1970 in the name of civil war. So people who are instigating the military, they need to be dealt with, and also to remind them that the military are no alternative. In fact, let them know it, that the worst civilian government is better than the best military government. And we can never accept any rubbish again like military government in Nigeria. Oh, we cannot. We can't take that. So it is good that the Minister of State for Defense is reminding people that the military has accepted to be in the barrack to defend democracy. That is how it should be. That is what they ought to have done since our independence. They have no business being in the business of governance. All the countries in the world that have suffered under development is because of the military takeover. Let me give you a typical example. You can go and study the development of Pakistan and India. Pakistan and India got independent at the same time in 1948. When India, because they were one country, when India and Pakistan was created, and Pakistan was created to become an Islamic nation. Now, after 1948, when these two countries were created, one India, one Pakistan, one Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Look at their development. Because Pakistan, like Nigeria, allow military to ever be in power, Pakistan development was stalled. Pakistan could not develop at the pace of India. Look at India. India makes a lot of mistake in their civilian administration, but they never allowed the military to take over government in India. The military never entered into politics in India. The military never entered into power in India. Look at the development in India. Today, India is a major economic power in the world. You cannot place India and Pakistan at the same level. The only thing that makes Pakistan appear to be something of relevance is because India has nuclear weapon, Pakistan went and acquired nuclear weapon. That is basically the only thing that you can compare the two of them to with each other. But basically, economically, in terms of economic development and poverty eradication and all the diseases of development, India is far ahead of Pakistan. Why? Because in India, the military never tested power one day. The civilian administration, democracy in India is not perfect. Just like in Nigeria, our democracy is not perfect. But the worst of this, our democracy, is better than the best military government. So nobody should be allowed to wish this country military administration. That is why the government should not take it lightly with those who are making such calls, who are making such innuendos, who are making such suggestions. If you're a follower of this channel, you know I'm not happy with so many things in this country. I was not happy about how the election results were manipulated during the last election. Most Nigerians were not happy about the outcome of the last election. But that does not mean that we will not come out to condemn any suggestion whatsoever of military being encouraged to take over the government in Nigeria. This nation cannot stand them. They should stay in the barrack. They should stay in their base. And like Matawalle say, continue to defend democracy. And those who are instigating them, those who are encouraging them, should be called to order. They should know that the military is no better than civilians. They are not an alternative. Their job is not in governance. Their job is in the barracks to defend the territorial integrity of Nigeria. It is not to come and govern. It is their uninvited foray into governance that destroyed this country, that cost us a whole lot of things. We would have been at par with India today. We would have been at par today with Singapore and all the Asian tiger countries, Malaysia, what have you. We should have been at par with them. It was the military's intervention in Nigeria's leadership that stagnated the development of this country. So nobody should look at them as a kind of savior of any kind, because they are not. They are the center of the problem of this country. So let them continue to defend democracy. That is their job. And I'm happy. I have seen reports where even the Chief of Defense Staff has made it clear that they are going to continue to defend democracy. That is how it should be. Let it be clear. The military has nothing to offer this country in leadership. They should mind their own business, and they should not listen to any instigation. They should face their business of protecting the territorial integrity of this nation. They should go after the bandits. They should go after the terrorists. They should go after all those who are threatening the security of life and property in this country. That is the job we expect from them. And that is what we expect people to call them and encourage them to do, and not for them to come and be in governance of Nigeria. Because military has taken over in Burkina Faso, in Niger, and all these West African countries, does not make it right. And Nigeria, being the giant of Africa, we cannot allow democracy to deteriorate to the level where military will be an alternative. They can never be an alternative. The military, civilian administration we have, our democracy may not be perfect, but it is a work in progress, and it will get better with time. Let us continue to encourage our democracy. Let us continue to work for the progress of Nigeria. Let us continue to encourage our leaders to continue to reform our democracy until it becomes the best that it could be, so that we can be able to achieve the result we are looking for, a Nigeria that works for everyone. What we need is for the National Assembly to amend the Electoral Act, put in the necessary ingredients to make sure that it is difficult for anyone to manipulate the election, to make sure that electronic transmission of results is compulsory. It is written in black and white, that everyone can see it in such a way that the law will not be at a level where the Independent National Electoral Commission can decide to choose whichever way they like to collect results. We don't want that. What we want is to strengthen our democracy, and National Assembly can help to strengthen our democracy. That is what everybody should encourage. That is what every Nigerian should support. This is issue that is beyond politics. This issue of some unpatriotic Nigerians suggesting military takeover in Nigeria is an issue that is condemnable. Those who are making such call, and the law need to take its course on them, so that they will realize that military, when it comes to governance in Nigeria, is the major problem of Nigeria. And that was why in the last 20 years or more, when we returned to democracy in 1999, this country has been trying to undo the evil that was done on this country by the military intervention in our politics in 1966. Thank you for watching this video, and if you are new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.